Hello, I'm Jo Kiminade and I'm talking to John Knorr, founder and CEO of the Uglii Corporation. John, very exciting times. You've had great success involving postal systems and industry organisations as national partners in the Uglii system, and now you're turning your attention to banks.
Joe, yeah, we're very pleased with the uptake of postal systems and industry organisations. Yeah, banks are important to us because banks have relationships with all businesses. Collectively, they have relationships with all businesses in the economy and with persons and households, of course. So, yeah, we see them as being very important partners in the Uglii coalition. So we're turning our attention now on to the banks. And that's looking very good. There's a lot of interest out there at the moment, and that's only going to grow. So we're very comfortable about that. Of course, we're being a little bit selective about banks, as banks have had some problems in terms of various bits and pieces of scandals. So we're trying to avoid being tarnished by those banks effectively.
Right.
So yeah, we're interested in doing deals with banks in every economy, and we are very confident that those banks that become partners with us will be very excited about those partnerships and benefit profoundly by those partnerships.
And why is that? Why will they want to partner with Uglii?
Well, there's an issue of money, and banks always like money, and we can help deliver them some money through commission arrangements. As well, the Uglii system is very powerful at cementing relationships between banks and their clients.
Right.
Okay, because the Uglii system provides a number of services to businesses that are very powerful and provides those services for free.
Oh, I see.
And of course the system presents those as being complementary from the bank. So
it's appearing that these services that businesses can use
Yeah.
are a gift from the bank.
a gift from the bank. That's
Okay.
a nice way of saying it. And those services are immensely powerful.
I see.
Okay, so they're more powerful than any business has seen before.
And that also includes free spatial discovery, doesn't it?
It includes free spatial discovery, and that is a very powerful service. It's a
Sure.
very specific, geographically accurate, and very specific in terms of products and services that the business sells. So it's a very powerful service.
So businesses will register, which costs them nothing to register into the Uglii system, and they can receive these free services, which include spatial discovery, for free,
Yep.
and that all comes through the bank, basically.
It's seen to be coming through the bank, so yes, as you said before, it's a gift from the bank.
Sure.
So just those processes of the bank being seen to provide those really excellent services is very exciting for businesses, and of course it consolidates the relationship between the bank and the business.
And can banks register businesses that aren't their clients?
Absolutely. So that's the big opportunity for the banks. They can be acquisitive of other banks' clients. So if they're
Right.
in the system and partnering in the system, they've got a huge advantage over those banks that are not partners in the system.
Right.
So
right.
it's from a bank point of view, it's very exciting if you're in the Uglii system, and very threatening if you're not. So it's as simple as that.
There's also a way that the bank can market to those businesses, isn't there?
Look, there's lots of ways, and we give the bank lots of tools that they help them market to non-clients of the bank. So
And clients?
and clients, of course, but they've got a relationship with those clients anyway, so they can talk to them through their accounts, through their websites, and all the banking, online banking, and all of those opportunities that they've got to talk to their clients. So the client part of the task is fairly easy.
Sure.
They're talking to them a lot, all the time. So talking with the non-clients is the challenge, and the system means that if one bank's got Uglii and the other bank hasn't, the bank that's got Uglii is going to have a huge advantage, because it's a way of drawing those non-clients into the system and getting them registered. And then the system provides the ability for the bank to talk to those organisations that have come,
services.
to market its services and establish a relationship, and so on. The system is very knowledgeable about the businesses that come into the system. So it gives the bank the opportunity to market its services sensitively to the businesses that have come into the system just to be in the Uglii system.
Sure.
So banks that take Uglii seriously and get registered in Uglii have this huge advantage over banks that don't, and they can effectively over time acquire those clients that are not of the bank.
Sure.
And that works at a business level, but it also works at a personal level, because the system is very, very powerful for persons, and it's also very powerful for households as a way of reducing their costs and making their procurement of products and services more efficient, more competitive. The banks that are partners in the Uglii system got huge benefits over the banks that are not partners in the Uglii system.
Right, okay. And now the structure is that you're talking to banks or looking at banks that would come on as a national partner. Then they appoint all of their branches as affiliates.
Yep.
And those branches register businesses into the system for free.
Yep.
Where does the bank get its commissions from?
Well, the bank gets commissions from the 65 or so services in the system that business can buy.
Oh, I see. Yep.
On average, probably a business is going to buy 5 or 6 services from the Uglii system. All the services in the Uglii system are affordable, which obviously means that every business that wants to use those services can do so. There's no real barriers. Cost is not a barrier.
Sure.
They're also very powerful. So we know from our testing that businesses will buy the services as long as they know about them. Once they're registered in the system, they know about them because the system talks to them.
Sure.
About what might be a good service for their business, because the system knows what that business does and its size and those sort of things. So there are parameters in the information that the system has that can guide the business towards the appropriate services in the system. So it's a very powerful system. There's a lot of automation, so we can keep the cost of services down, and of course that makes it affordable for all businesses.
Okay.
So we see that all businesses in the global economy and in every national economy can afford to buy these services.
Okay, sure.
So
and the bank gets a portion of that commission?
Yeah, the bank gets a portion of that commission, and it's paid every 2 weeks, so it doesn't accumulate. It's there for the bank.
Sure.
It's transparent. The bank can see what its branches are doing in the system. It can see what businesses are doing in the system, so they understand how well it's going for them. And,
if the bank receives, as a national partner, receives 40% of net profit, is that correct?
Yeah, look, that's negotiable between the global partner and the bank,
I
but
see.
it's roughly that. Yeah.
Sure, and then they can apportion that to their branches if they wish, or not. And can individuals that work at the bank become like a sub-affiliate of that branch?
There are tools there that allow the bank to energise their employees to go out and register businesses that are not clients of the bank. So it's very much a gathering process. So the system is very powerful, and the Uglii billing system tracks those achievements of those staff, and tells the bank what it should be paying in terms of rewards that they've agreed with those staff. So it's a very powerful system from the bank's point of view. It's very powerful at establishing new relationships with businesses.
Sure.
That in banking, it seems to me to be the big challenge banks have. They can generally maintain their relationships with their existing clients, all right. It's very hard to crack new ones.
Sure.
So the Uglii system gives a tool for the banks that have the Uglii system, and of course those banks that are not partnering with Uglii are probably going to fall victims of those processes.
Now, is there a limited number of affiliate positions available?
We limit the number of affiliates in any economy. So there is, it's a predefined limit worked out on a formula that we apply to every country.
Sure. And
that's absolute. So if the postal systems come in, then they've taken half of the available affiliates. So banks need to be fairly proactive in making sure that they get a deal in their economy.
Okay.
And that they get sufficient affiliates allocated to cover their branch arrangements.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So as well, in the system there are tools that help the bank set up their affiliate relationships so that they are localised and that they're responding to local business needs and that they're presenting business information locally.
Sure.
It's very important. Most search, for example, is done locally.
Yep.
Or should be done locally. It's the most important thing for most businesses because most businesses are only interested in local search. Uglii, through our patents, is in a very powerful position to ensure that we're the only organisation on the planet that can provide very specific local search right across the planet.
Okay.
So we're in a very powerful position. So from a bank's point of view, this is really a very important and powerful opportunity. Clearly we can't accommodate and don't really want to accommodate all banks. We want to have relationships with some banks in each economy.
Sure.
So that the business can join through that bank. So it's a huge opportunity for banks that are proactive or aggressive in their economies, and we're very excited about it. And we're getting very good response from banks. We've had great response from the postal systems, and we've got a process now that we're very confident we'll bring in most postal systems in the world.
Sure.
We're now going after the banks.
Okay, and they would need to get on board reasonably quickly if you're...
Well, they absolutely. I mean, you know, they run the chance of being
locked out,
gazumped by their rivals. So,
right.
Yeah, it's not something you sit around and wonder what's going to wait to see what's going on, because if you wait to see what's going on, you're just going to miss out.
Right.
So this process is self-selecting in a way. You know, the banks that are proactive and aggressive and creative are inclined to do things with us quickly, and those that are timid are inclined to sit back and see what happens.
Yep.
Of course, the guys sitting back will miss out. Okay.
Sure.
We have designed the affiliate numbers to be sufficiently tight that they will be excluded from the process.
Sure.
Okay, so
what does it cost for a bank to join, to become a national partner?
nothing. We've just got to like them. Okay.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of banks around the world recently that have dirtied their copybook, really, in terms of various scandals, and we're just crossing them off our list.
Right.
Okay, so we want banks that are fairly, clean and don't have big histories of scandals.
Right.
We're certainly not discriminating against small banks. We think small banks can be very important.
Sure.
So small banks should look at this in a very positive light. There are opportunities for them.
Okay.
We're not just going to pick big banks because they're big.
Sure.
Okay, so we can pick several banks to cover the areas.
Is there a revenue modelling tool that a bank can use to work out what its commissions may be over time?
Yeah, we have those tools, and we can. It's fairly easy for them to apply that, knowing the number of business clients they have and the a number of personal clients and domestic clients.
Sure. And these revenues, they're enduring, aren't they? They just keep turning over every business that...
Absolutely.
So it's like a yearly subscription as such, or...
Well, businesses will buy services every week or two. Okay, there's some services that are on a subscription basis where they're buying those once a year, and there's other services that business will buy frequently.
Right.
Marketplace services that are very, very powerful for business will be bought, many times a day in terms of some businesses, and then the commission is paid every 2 weeks. So we accumulate that and pay it every
So
time.
if a bank is interested, obviously they need to be appointed by a global partner, and then negotiate a commission arrangement with that global partner. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, they can contact Uglii, and we will point them in the right direction and give them documents. So it's important that they understand the system before they go making decisions. So we have documents that we can send to any bank that will get the bank excited. It makes it fairly easy for the bank to make a decision.
Okay.
Yeah. So they've got to do a bit of homework, but it's a small price to pay for increased revenue, many more clients coming into the bank, and so on. So
okay, and the process itself of from their end of of appointing all of their branches as affiliates? Is it something that's simple? Can it be done by a spreadsheet, or is it?
Yeah, it's all automated.
Right.
We give the bank a spreadsheet that defines how we want information put together, and they generally have all of that information,
Of course, yeah.
fairly close to their fingertips because they know their own branches.
Sure.
And the system then will automatically create a web page for them for each branch, and geolocate the branch in that website, plus show maps, for example, that look at that local area that branch services as the starting point for involvement of businesses in the system. When businesses generally look at the system and see that it is very powerful and at a local level, then they get excited about it very quickly.
Yep.
Okay, and they're very prone to register. And it's that registration process that guarantees the bank is going to have revenues thereafter in the system. So it's a bit of a land grab. We call it a land grab. So they're going to be in competition, generally going to be in competition with the postal systems, and perhaps some telcos and industry organisations. Mm-hmm. But they have a good starting point from their banking relationships with businesses in particular.
Okay.
And so we're very excited about banks coming into the system, and we think that they're going to be enormously appreciative of the opportunity that we give them. But as long as they pick it up, of course, if they let it go, they're going to hate us and themselves.
Right. Okay, John, thank you very much for talking to us
Thanks,
today.
Jo.